Hello everyone. Sorry I haven't been uploading anything. It's mainly because I haven't decided what game I want to play exactly. But I figured now is a greater time as any. Mainly because I just got the game Torchlight as a birthday present. And all I can really say is that this is a damn good game. Mainly because of the fact it reminds me of an old game that I played when I was a kid called Fate, as well as the third game in the series, Fate the Traitor's Soul. And, well, what more can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? It's amazing, it's fun to play, it's easy to learn. Now, the only thing I don't like about this game would have to be the whole, you're limited in the number of classes that you have. You have like a fighter, an alchemist, and an archer. But at least you can respec them to however you want, or at least in terms of equipment. So there's no like equipment limitation. For example, with my fighter, I have 2 sets of weaponry, sword and shield, and a bone rifle. Honestly, I'm more into the rifles in this game. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to slice some things apart and, you know, shoot things to break up the monotony. It's just that the last time I ever saw any guns in a fantasy game would have to be a game like Fate 2, and how you had a choice between a crossbow, a pistol, or a rifle. But then again, it was sort of leaning out of the medieval fantasy and a bit more into, well, I'm recording this while I'm playing the game, and honestly, I've been really getting into it. Now, what can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? And yes, I muted the sound, and I'm repeating myself, but I muted the sound so you can hear me, because I'm also testing out a new microphone that I got a hold of. And honestly, I like how this game rarely stutters, because there's some games I've played where they stutter like crazy when I try and record something. It may be because of the fact I'm using a game booster, and I only turn it on when it's necessary. For example, if it's just constantly dipping, then normally it kind of turns me off from the whole, I want to make a video today, because I'm afraid the game is going to keep stuttering and stuttering and stuttering. I think it's also because of the fact that from where I am, I essentially had to shrink down the screen. Because for me to use like Bandicam and record gameplay footage, I'd have to shrink down the screen or play it in a window because I can't play it full screen. Well, the story is sort of simplistic but interesting, since there's a mineral called Ember in this game that everyone is after for all kinds of reasons. Also, I kind of like how it's pretty cool you're able to like bind everything to your keyboard. So it essentially sort of reminds me of World of Warcraft in the sense that you can have like a crap ton of binds. Though the problem with having a ton of binds is you have to memorize where all the binds are and what item or skill or whatever you bound to it. Now, little hints at at the next episode. I'm going to be playing a zombie MMO, and it's an MMO I've been playing for a long while, and I have an interesting history with it, and I think you'd enjoy it. But back to Torchlight. I have the sequel, I just haven't played it yet, because I'd rather beat this game if there is an ending, because I remember Fate didn't really have that much of an ending, since the dungeon essentially was endless. Like, say for, I think it was like 50 levels in that dungeon, but I've never beaten it, because the farthest I could ever get is floor 30, before I'd lose my patience because of the fact I was constantly getting murdered. Though I will admit, though, at least with Fate, every skill you'd upgrade didn't just flat out, affect what weapon type you used. It was more like essentially the skill. What do I mean by this? Okay. What do I mean by this? Well, in Fate, when you beefed up your strength, you could carry heavier armor and your melee damage was a lot, stronger. When you increased dexterity, it would increase your weapon swing speed. Since the reason I'd lose my patience was because of the fact that every time I swung my sword at something, I'd be missing more times than I'd hit something. Magic is self-explanatory, and defense is also self-explanatory. Here, it's just strength affects melee, dexterity affects range, magic affects, magic spells, and, defense is defense. Though honestly, the main reason I even liked this game to begin with was because of the fact... Oh yeah, what do I want to enchant? Well, that sucked. I was expecting something... maybe give myself a bonus enchantment. Also, there is one thing that carried over from Fate. And... what was that? Oh yeah. It essentially carried over the whole, you have to identify items, otherwise if you sell them, they'll just be treated like regular items and it'll be impossible to buy them back. I remember I did this a lot in Fate, and it just agitated me to the point where I just rage quit the game. I know it's sad, but that's what happened. Though I wanted to do a review of Fate, I just haven't bought it, because I had it on disc at one point, and I'm still trying to find the disc copy. Because I have the first game and the third game, The Traitor's Soul. I liked the third game because of the fact that you essentially had different races to choose from. There's your human, orc, dark elf, and my personal favorite, the cogger. The coggers are essentially half man, half machine, and they use their machines to extend their lifespan, and they're searching for ancient technology and lost sciences, as it's described in the introduction. And you're essentially just trying to navigate this thing called the Chamber of Heroes. However, that's a bit easier said than done, because of the fact that that dungeon really is hard. Though what agitated me the most about the alternate dungeons was because of the fact you quote-unquote needed a Okay, so this is the second part of the review, because I can only record 10 minutes at a time. But honestly, back to what I was saying, with Fate the Traitor's Soul, damn it. I might do a let's play of this game, but that would have to be until I'm done beating this game and I choose a different class. But just know, I love this game because it reminds me of the game Fate, except it just feels a little bit better. One thing I really do like is how it's easier to sell your items, because of the fact that you could just shift and then click. Oh my god, legendary gear! I sound like a Warcraft nerd for saying that, but that's essentially how the color rarity works. Since it, again, reminds me of Fate. What do I mean by that? Well, in Fate, the color rarity system was essentially is like, if there's no aura around it, that means just basic piece of equipment. Then there'd be like a purple aura or a dark blue aura, which essentially means that it was enchanted. Then there's the blue aura, or light blue aura rather, which just meant that what was it? It basically just meant that the item was named, like it belonged to some ancient hero before you. And of course yellow, which I got on my chest piece, means it's legendary. And of course legendary is something you always want to get. Hello, I'm just here to buy some identifying scrolls. I need a lot of them. Because that's one of the few reasons I come back up here. Otherwise I just stay in the dungeon forever. Bye bye Bucket of Bones rifle. Sorry for the pause and heavy breathing. I just had to manage my inventory for a minute. But yeah, I love this game. It sort of takes me back to my childhood, I guess you could say. But I think the only problem I ever had is, like I said, the whole limited characters. And the whole, you can't really customize their face. Because you're essentially supposed to be the hero. Why can't you just make your hero look like you? But that's just a cosmetic difference, and I can honestly overlook those. This honestly is just a really, really fun game to play. And I strongly recommend everyone go buy it. You can get it on Steam or Good Old Games. Also, I like how the armor actually has a cosmetic change, because that's what used to irk me about certain RPGs, was because of the fact that it never felt like you equipped that piece of armor. It just felt like it was there. The closest thing you could get to a cosmetic change was, of course, getting, like, a different skin, I guess you could say. Alright, I just feel like I'm padding this out. But yeah, I think I had some fun with this game. Oh, am I kidding? I don't think. I know I had fun. It sort of brought me back to my childhood and how I essentially played the crap out of Fate, though I could never beat it. Maybe if I do a review of it, I'll be determined enough to beat it again. Or at least try to beat it again. Because the only other person I've known that's beaten the game would have to be my own mom, and that, believe it or not, was when she got into playing video games. Because the closest thing she ever did was just play on a Game Boy Color. Until when I was a kid I broke it. Because I rage quit playing a game of Zelda. I was really little, like, really, really little. But, yeah. Go buy it, go play it. That's the end of the review. Stay tuned for the next episode for when I start my own game dungeon as an homage to a certain song.